So I'm Erin Harrell. I'm a clinical psychologist. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the director of clinical programs at the Pacific Center, and I've been there since 2016. Pacific Center was founded actually in 1973. So it is the oldest LGBTQIA+ center in the Bay Area, the third oldest in the nation. And it operates the only sliding scale mental health clinic for LGBTQIA+ and QT BIPOC people and their families in Alameda County. So that's a wide, only in Alameda County. So we're definitely sort of a community staple. And so based on that introduction, we primarily serve the LGBTQ+ population, although not exclusively. We don't discriminate based on however you identify, but that is our specialty. And so our mission, and you can find this if you look at our website, is basically just to enhance the mental health and overall well-being of the LGBTQIA+ and QT BIPOC communities by providing culturally responsive therapy, peer-to-peer support groups, community outreach services, and facilitated workshops. We always strive to incorporate strong social justice and trauma-informed frameworks in our clinical training and peer-to-peer support programs. We want to contribute to equitable mental health services delivery. And our goal is just to provide the most comprehensive care possible for all who seek our services. So that's sort of our mission. And we have a few values underneath that we sort of created this past year that are vital to us as a staff, and also sort of values that we hope trickle down into our training program, which is 4 areas, which is accountability, transparency, responsiveness, and accessibility. Full trainee has about 20 to 22 hours during the week of training and client work and other responsibilities. So, I mean, they have a caseload of 8 to 10, but beyond that, there's, you'll probably get to this, there's 8 hours of total training. So there's a 2-hour didactic seminar. There's group supervision, and I know you're going to ask this later on, individual supervision. Let's see, professional development group, which I'll talk to in the next question around training. And clinicians are also responsible for completing a 2-hour phone screen. So when potential clients reach out for therapy services, we screen them for appropriateness for our services, that they're not too acute or something that we feel like we're not able to manage effectively. And so the trainees complete phone screens, which really helps with initial like brief assessment skills, phone take interviewing, which they'll need if they have a private practice. So it's really a good set of skills to learn. So they do that a couple hours a week. So aside from client work and training, that's the only other, and affinity groups are required for white identified clinicians. Clients come to us via our website, word of mouth, community resources, and also Medi-Cal. So the referral process, so clients will go onto our website and they book a phone screen on our website, and then they complete a 30-minute phone screen, which is not an intake, right? It's a screen. And then if they are deemed sort of appropriate for services, then they go on to our wait list. And then we have an intake coordinator who then reviews all of the potential clients and the clinicians' availability and interest areas and pairs them together. And so assigns all of the clients. And then if there's any need to consult with me, I'm very involved in the training program. So with Medi-Cal, they just refer directly to us. And then they also go on our wait list, and then the intake coordinator will assign. So the intake coordinator is sort of the go-between, between the clients and the clinicians, and is sort of also very active in making sure that linkages happen appropriately. So caseload of 8 to 10. And so so we primarily have adults. And I would say like ages, 23 to 70. So there's a whole lifespan. We do have some adolescents that typically are around gender or sexuality and sort of family issues or concerns. And so there's also couples. So they probably will see couples if they really want to. So couples, individuals, and some adolescents, not really the young kids so much. We don't have any standing groups that we run, but we encourage clinicians to either pick an idea or team up with someone and run a group. We fully support and back that. There are some other ways to get involved. And I hesitate to say this because the opportunities aren't yearly, but we have older and out groups where they facilitate therapy groups for older adults. There's 4 running currently, and we also have an HIV support group and also a grief group. So those sometimes can be opportunities for clinicians to participate, although once people are in those slots, the only way to get another clinician in is if they leave. So I don't want to advertise that, but there are opportunities beyond the clinical scope to get involved. So I'd like to sort of call this a training institution because we care a lot about training, and we do a lot of supervision and a lot of groups where, you sort of work on your stuff. So again, we assign an individual supervisor. The way it's been working now, and who knows until when, it's a Zoom situation, but if it's in person, the trainee usually goes to the supervisor's private practice site and has the hour of supervision there. We have a 2-hour group supervision weekly. And we also have a weekly professional development group, which is sort of a critical race theory class and process group. And it provides clinicians in training an opportunity to explore how societal systems, oppression and privilege, the macro interact with personal histories and identities, the micro, in ways that then inform work as therapists. So through that lens and through discussions, the clinicians will look at their relationships to various aspects of the world, including self, others, institutions, and systems. So it's a really rich experience, and it's very, very moving, very pivotal, very, very gritty. And then there's the affinity groups, which aren't supervision, but it's the white accountability group is required for white identified clinicians. And we have a BIPOC group, which is weekly, that is voluntary. Didactic seminars are Monday mornings from 10 to noon. And that's a range of topics from queering grief to consensual non-monogamy to dream work to fundamentals of psychoanalytic theory to assessment measures, CBT, DBT, and ACT, for example. So those are right Monday mornings. And then group supervision happens on Wednesdays. And the professional development group also happens on Wednesdays. So it's primarily Monday, Wednesday is the training chunks. So aside from the 8 hours of required time, which is a lot, but they plan their client hours themselves. So once they're assigned a client, then they schedule it themselves, and also the phone screen. So there's a lot of flexibility within a nice containing structure of a training program. There are probably 4 main characteristics, and I would say someone who's proactive proactive in their own learning, proactive in asking questions. You know, if you just sort of are going to lay back and sort of expect things to happen to you, it's probably not the site. You really got to get in there and commit. I would say flexibility is really important. You know, community mental health, things change, things shift. Also going with that adaptability, you know, can you pivot? If you're looking for something that is going to stay the same to some degree, that's also going to be, I mean, you have your caseload that stays the same, you have trainings, but it's a moving, evolving process. And I think if you're interested in something very dynamic, definitely this is the site for you. And also a sense of humor. I find that a sense of humor goes a very long way. The staff all have robust, unique senses of humor, and we really appreciate clinicians who, you know, take the work very seriously, but also can laugh at themselves and have a bit of fun and, you know, bring some levity into the situation. Is really intense work that we do. We're on site, space was an issue, and that's not an issue right now, but it is when you're on site because we have about 6 therapy rooms. So that gets kind of dicey in terms of getting them. But as an organization, you know, because you know, your greatest gift is also your biggest thorn, right? So we're big on transparency, we're big on communication, we're big on equity, we're big on, you know, bringing clinicians into the conversation. We don't like to hide things. We share appropriately, obviously. We keep things on the director level that need to be on the director level, but you know, we bring people into this community feel. And I think sometimes the benefit of that is feeling like you're part of it and feeling like you have a voice. And I think sometimes the drawback is that sometimes you feel like you maybe know too much, or you feel too responsible, or the hierarchy breaks down because of equitability. So it's definitely something that we're working on ongoing in terms of how to be equitable, transparent, and also have structures and frameworks to help people feel like they're not managing up. So we have received a very generous grant from Kaiser to support our social justice and trauma-informed training program. So it is specifically, the money is specifically earmarked to financially support the growing careers of BIPOC clinicians. So this means allowing us to have diversity in our didactic trainers, to allow us to increase diversity in our supervisors, to generally just fund our mission. And it also allows us to continue to offer a diversity stipend. So I would say Black and Brown identified students, clinicians are encouraged to apply. And if folks have more questions, they can just email the center directly.